Hello, and welcome to another episode of Superpowers, the show where you get to experience the extraordinary. And I'm really excited today. I have a return guest. I have Valeria Tignini back with me today, and I'm pretty excited about this. We had a great interview about 2.5 years ago, and that was a lot of fun. And at the time, things were kind of just opening up for Val. She has experienced a Kundalini opening, and it's just kind of going gangbusters for us. So it'll be fun to just catch up and find out what she's been doing and what's been going on with her, just as far as, her own growth and what she finds is happening in her world as she experiences this new part of herself. So we're going to talk about that with Val, and I think, rather than have me say any more, I just want to jump right in and welcome Val to the show. So, hello, Val. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, Carl. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you back. I've just been really, I've been following you and watching, things you've been doing. I know the activities have been going on and seeing, Facebook posts and that kind of thing. And so I think that things have been very exciting for you. And I think that you've had a lot of growth and a lot of changes that have been going on in your life recently. So I'd love to just hear a little bit about that and kind of what that's been like for you.
Sure. Well, 2.5 years ago, it feels like more like 21 years ago. I don't know. It's been so long. We were just talking about that before, our a little chat before the interview, but that time is really going so fast now. And the way I feel is that what I was 2.5 years ago is very different from what I am now.
Yeah.
Even though there's those core qualities, but
Mm-hmm.
energetically, I've grown so much.
Right.
And people tell me this too that come to my sessions or my workshops or whatever. And so I've grown in this way that it's much more powerful, the sessions.
Well, yeah, I am sure that's true, and I remember um, it hadn't been that long since you had that opening, which really started at an Abdy session. Isn't that right?
That's right. It was 2000, December of 2010 with Abdi, and I've had a full-blown Kundalini awakening. So all my chakras lit up, and so I can access that source anytime I want. When all of your chakras light up, you experience this place right here, is what some people call enlightenment. So I can access that space and anytime I want. So that's the power of connecting to source. And my shedding of of programming, conditioning, and even the ego, because the ego is conditioned as well. That's helped me become more powerful.
So, question
And
for
if you
you
notice,
on
I
that.
think you notice a little bit that my confidence has changed too.
Yeah.
Because looking back at that video, it feels like I was like a little girl.
Well, you know, actually, I'll be honest. That the part of the fun of doing that with you at that time was that you were kind of a newbie. So all
Yeah.
this stuff was new. All of it was fresh, and you're just like, it's like it was Christmas, and you opened up all these gifts, and now you're trying to figure out what all these things are and how you integrate them into your life. And so, yeah, it was actually a really fun time to be able to do that with you.
Yeah, you were the first one to interview me. So so your instincts are very good because I have grown so much, and of course, by the grace of God, and so I'm grateful that you interviewed me then and you're interviewing me now.
Well, so let me ask you a question because it's one still that kind of sits like a splinter in the back of my mind. I have been to so many things. I've read so many books. I have been, to I've seen Abdi even, and but various different people who move a lot of energy. I spent 3 years live streaming Brazzo, probably stood, 10 feet away from him while he was doing his straight to camera gazes for 3,000 or plus gazes, I haven't had a Kundalini awakening. So,
Yeah.
so I'm just curious, do you think it's something, is this like a soul journey thing for you? Do you think it was something that you were maybe personally able to prepare yourself for? How do you think that happened for you?
So I was the complete opposite of you. I never read anything. I never meditated. I didn't even know what a chakra was. So I was completely, you know, I didn't even know what I was attending. I thought Abdi was going to show us like some sort of, I don't know, like slideshow program. I don't know. It was just nothing that I expected. But the minute he came up to me, I felt something very familiar. So my feeling is that Kundalini you cannot work for it. It is great. It is given to you by grace.
Mm-hmm.
So now there are people that have Kundalini rising, which is like they feel energy in their chakras. They're, some of their chakras are open, like their pineal gland or their heart chakra, or even their crown chakra. But they don't have all of their chakras open. It's not in alignment.
Right. Yeah.
So sometimes it's a slow process where like some of your chakras are open, like your pineal gland is open. You saw in the last interview, you saw those beings next to me. That's your third eye, So,
Mm-hmm.
Some people have a slower process. It's a slower shedding. And I think for me, it's all due to what you've done in past lives.
Right. Yeah. Have you
So,
connected with any of that? Do you?
oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so what have you found seems to be your growth process then through multiple lifetimes? What do you think you've been working on?
With the past lives?
Uh-huh.
What connection has brought to me? It was brought to
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, so many. I don't like to, brag.
Well, yeah. Well, you can talk about process.
Yeah, when you connect to your past life, it's an activation in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see, we as human beings, when we're first babies, we're pure and our minds are not conditioned. However, we still have imprints of past lives. So they could be a fear
Right.
or anger or whatever, some sort of trauma. And it could even be some sort of confidence that you're just born with.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes from past life. However, the thing is, with when you grow older, our self-worth kind of diminishes through,
Yeah.
isn't it the truth?
It
Through
is.
through media or even our own guardians, through teachers, through peers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just even our own siblings.
Right.
Like they want authority. They want to put you in your place. You should be humble. So the self-worth kind of diminishes. And so the point is basically is to find our true selves.
Yeah.
See,
Right.
this is my whole thing now, that I come to realization that all this whole journey of being here on this planet as a soul in this body, in this mind, is to find our true selves.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And so
Yeah.
that also comes with knowing our past lives, because that's part of our soul.
Right.
It's all in there. It's all part of our DNA makeup.
Right.
And so it's really important to know that. I mean, some people, they go through others to find out, but it's more powerful when you learn it through your own self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. And I actually have noticed that. Well, tell me this, because there are parts of any person that can be subject to judgment, for example, from others, right? So people will get like an image of you in their head, and then when you stop matching that image, now there tends to be this collision of paradigm there for them in their brains, and then the judgment starts. And I mean, do you find that as you are moving forward and moving down the tracks, and you're incorporating more of who you really are, that suddenly people are going, well, now wait a second, but that doesn't fit, you know, my image of what you're supposed to be, and you get leveled by any sorts of judgments?
In high judgments or low judgments? I mean, how do you
Low. I think most of the judgments that come in are all low balls, don't you?
Yeah. So then, that's a reflection of themselves, of their own worth. Yeah, I don't really get that kind of judgment because, see, I don't give authority amongst, the people that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm everybody's friend. I
Right.
keep everyone, you're all on my level. Yes, I had a very specific journey, soul journey, and that it gave me grace in this lifetime to activate at age 30, and all by just the grace of God. I didn't even have to do anything or know anything, and I didn't work for it or nothing else, but that's all because of the past lives that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, if they know what Kundalini awakening is, there's some sort of respect in that sense, like,
Right.
wow, you actually had a Kundalini awakening. Abdi doesn't even call it Kundalini awakening. He calls it the fire of the Holy Spirit.
Ah, yeah.
So,
Right.
it's all, again, perspective. However, the point is that people, I think judgments come in when there's jealousy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
It's a big one because people say, oh, well, why does she get Kundalini awakening and I can't?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Welcome to the party on that one. It's not that I'm jealous, but it does occur to me as a question. Just like, I wonder if that kind of thing's ever gonna cross my path.
This is what I've learned is that not everybody has the full-blown Kundalini awakening. Is that they have Kundalini rising. It's a process, and that's because there's certain it's all through your mind. It's the filter of your mind. It's what you've let go, what you've surrendered to in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because we're all divine beings. We're all luminous divine beings. It's just a matter of coming back to the true self.
Right.
And
Right.
it all goes back to our self-worth as well.
Yeah.
I mean, those sound so simple in like the hierarchy of spirituality, but do you know what I'm saying? Like
I
people
do.
talk
Oh,
about
I
self-worth
do.
all the time, but it's true.
Right.
Your self-worth is truly, you should value yourself. You should really know who you really are.
Well, and the truth is, A, none of us really do. And B, that is actually part of what this third dimensional reality was set up to mask
Yes.
from us, so that we have that discovery process. But I can guarantee you that, you know, 100 out of 100 people this morning who are watching this did not wake up and go look at the mirror, themselves in the mirror and say, I love you. Oh, I am so happy to see you this morning.
Exactly. That's, I just came back from my retreat, Soul Rising, and that's what I say. They sometimes people have this thing where they say like, "Oh, I'm so stupid," and I say, "Don't you ever talk about yourself like that ever again."
Yeah, right.
And it's like I have to be mother. I become like the mother. I call everyone my kids because I have to retrain them to think that they are worthy. They are beautiful, divine, powerful beings.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't think that there are too many who suspect that. We really don't, because we do buy what we are seeing, with our physical senses here in the third dimensional realm, and we forget that this is just the realm of effect, and that the realm of cause or the realm of creation is actually who we are. And then once we create that stuff, it's just showing us the picture of what we created, and we just and we look at that part, and we look at the creator, and we don't think about ourselves as the creator.
That's right. That's a big one, Carl, because when we're basically aging ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me all the time, well, how do you look so young? I mean, I've definitely aged since I was younger, but it's slower. I've noticed that it's much slower, and it's all because I'm learning to love myself, and I'm vibrating in that vibration of loving yourself is so much higher that you're actually slowing down the aging process.
Yeah. No, I believe that because you, we are love. That's all we are, So the more we don't acknowledge that, the more we don't accept that, or we resist it, there's the friction that causes the wear. If you're flowing freely and living who you really are versus all this struggle and effort and trying to be something that you're not, which is bottom line, we're just love. That's it.
That's right. That is our natural vibration, and we disturb that vibration through our minds.
That and many other things we disturb with our minds. And I think if people knew what the ripple effect was, as they are sort of vomiting the contents of their conscious mind,
Yes.
and I think that they go, oh, that wasn't good. It's a pollution of its own kind, really.
Absolutely. Our intention is so powerful in this day and age. Like people don't know that. Some people do, but this time is a very special time for us, for humanity and the earth itself. The earth is vibrating now at 5D, fifth dimensional reality. So we are becoming almost like creator gods. We can co-create with the divine and allow ourselves to truly step into our power. And I know, again, this sounds so, I normally don't talk this way, but because when I first had my Kundalini awakening, I had all these I was releasing a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so that wasn't the focus
Right.
of. But now I'm in this new space where I understand how we are built.
Yeah.
And so there's a new realization for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to take the training wheels off, and you're
Yeah, exactly. I'm in a new space, and there's a higher level of understanding, and so I'm excited about what's in store for humanity.
So, well, I am too, and in spite of some of the other things that happen to be going on in the third dimensional play, which to me really reflect a sense of powerlessness, and when you start looking outward and blaming, as opposed to going, okay, I don't like what that looks like, I need to go inside and I need to change the programming in there. You can see that well, let's put it this way. The veil of the third dimension is doing a really good job of masking us from who we are.
Oh, yes, Carl. Oh, yes. I agree with you on that 100%. It's a very, again, interesting time of what's happening in the 3D world.
Yeah.
We're being led by wolves.
Mm-hmm.
They want us to, take this walk with them down like this dark alley, but the light knows that's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good where I am, and I stand in my truth, and I stand in my love vibration. I don't want to go down that dark alley. And we don't know what the wolves have planned after it's all said and done.
Yeah, exactly.
Eat us up,
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, it's a nice. It's almost like a movie, that we're watching, and that it's really trying to pull us away from the higher level of consciousness, that heart center space.
Yeah, right.
that we really need to be in. That's the
Hmm.
fifth dimensional reality.
Yeah, you know it, and it's very effective. I don't know. It's a little bit like being in a restaurant and a bar that's like a sports bar, right? So there's televisions all over, and trying not to have your eye drawn to what's happening. Almost impossible, just because there's the light and there's the movement, and you know you can't help but do it.
A complete distraction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. But okay, really what we need to do is we need to change the channel is what we need to do. You know, we're watching the wrong program. We're being drawn
Yeah.
into to a drama that is not who we are, and it
Yeah.
doesn't empower us in any way. We need
Doesn't
to
serve us. Doesn't
yeah,
serve.
yeah.
You
And
should be watching your shows.
well, yes, exactly. So everyone, please do that, and please just watch my shows, and you'll be so much better.
Don't watch anything else. Not
Uh, well, but let's talk about that a little bit because you know you work with people and you do energy work with them and you do coaching with them. So let's say that you know I was part. Okay, so you're doing the Blossom
yes.
program,
Lots
which is
yeah.
yeah, which is and that recurs what every 2-3 months or something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so and if I'm a part of that, like what do we work on, and how does that work exactly? And how can that be a different channel for me so that I can
Sure.
shift my focus?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, Blossom Online is basically a group of people that all reside on this WhatsApp group. And I send transmissions every single day. And
Mm,
it could be where I ask the group to reveal their fears, or I ask the group to transmit light language. But it's all divinely set up. It's like someone called it. It's like a braid
mm,
where everything kind of weaves in together, and at the end of Blossom, you're like, oh, okay, I got it,
yeah.
and so it's a mixture of transmission of downloads, universal downloads,
Mm-hmm.
and like for example, where the soul comes from.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, those kind of things are like very enlightening, and they change. You're okay?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I do that. I like check my screen for audio and that kind of stuff. Don't worry about me when I do that.
Okay, okay. I was like, oh no.
No. We're fine. Everything's good. so.
So, these transmission, they change, first of all, the way you think, and they make you more heart centered as well as shifting your DNA.
Right.
Because once you start learning the truth about yourself, then you can actually be your true self. And so, and then, they have each other. There's so much support from me, from the rest of the group. And it's really like a beautiful soul family coming together virtually from all over the world,
Yeah.
from the U.S. to Colombia, Australia, Tokyo, Europe, all over the world.
Well, which is actually wonderful, and it's good to know, or it's good to visualize that when that's happening, you've got people, across the planet who aren't, it's not that they're sitting in front of a laptop and there's this whole physical thing happening. Actually, what it is it's a combined energy entering into a field,
Yes,
and
yes, very good, Carl. You catch on very quick. You know that? No, because I'm not trying to. I'm meaning like you catch on energetically. It's not through your mind. You
right,
can
yeah,
sense it through energetics. Exactly. It becomes an actual vortex
yeah,
in itself. It's like I say that to people, that it's in a vortex on the screen
right.
on your phone.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. And, physically you might be in Colombia, but you're in that field. You're in that
Yes, in that
vortex.
field.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
for 21 days. And so it shifts you so much by
yeah,
the end of that 21 days.
yeah. Real quick, I'm going to put something up on screen for people so that if they go to your website at valsecrets.com, they can find the Blossom Online program there. And then they can see what that looks like. So, a question for you then about this, because I know what I think. I wonder what you do. If somebody does this, it's something that you could do over and over, and it would actually be sort of an increasing kind of thing. You know, each time the tree grows a ring as you involve in this and you participate in the group. And obviously, the difference will be that there will be different people and different energies, so the field itself is going to shift and change. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with the people that are in the group.
Right, right. And no doubt I just love how that works. You know, the spirit lays out the stepping stones in such an elegant, beautiful way, and the people who need to be there are there.
Exactly. And I tell them, I said, I collectively take from all of you, and then I create the transmission. And every blossom is always different because it all has to do with them. They're like the microcosm of like the new humanity. Right. I truly believe that, you know, we will soon create these communities, not virtual, but actual communities where we are learning from each other. We are vibrating to each other. We are co-creating. We are, you know, we're building, we're living harmoniously.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we'll know those are coming when people stop staring at their phones. They get tired of their phones and they start actually connecting, you know, with people again. Yeah.
You know, I truly believe that this phone thing is a symptom of how people are looking for more. First of all, it's almost like they're looking for community, but virtually.
Yeah.
But only because they think their self-worth is not good enough in person.
Right. Yeah.
They have more to offer virtually where they create this persona.
Yeah. Well, you know, here's another thing too that I have thought, this is a mental thing, but that, you know, the third dimension for us here really is, you know, sometimes I think of it as just like a dream, you know, it's just everything is a symbol or it's symbolic. And so the phones or computers and the internet, it's all kind of this physical symbol of our interconnecting, and so I think we're drawn by that energetically. You know, eventually we're going to realize, oh, okay, we are all connected.
Yes.
And that's going to feel right, and then we can put down the phone and we go, well, that wasn't really what was doing it. It was us in the first place.
That was not, yes, it was through your mind, but that's a download.
Oh, okay. Well,
because that's the truth. That's not something that, you know, you had to think about. You know, it comes through. It's a truth. It's a universal truth. It's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, I see that, and I see that.
That's your crown chakra. You see, that's where your information is coming through. Your crown chakra.
Well, it's a good thing it doesn't have as much hair on it as it used to, so it's a much clearer reception.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, man jokes.
That's good. Well, you know, that's what those are the symptoms of ascension. You know, when you're starting to receive these kinds of downloads and you're feeling things in different parts of your body.
Well, I am doing that for sure. I am. You know, I got to say that and we're going to do this later, by the way. So this is just a little kind of tease for you. But we did a session in the last Superpowers interview that we did that was amazing, and I actually started feeling things that I hadn't before, which was way cool. And so we're going to do that again at the end here. So stay with us because it's going to be really fun. But yeah, you know, as things start to wake up a little bit, and you just start to feel things in different places.
You've grown too since these 2.5 years.
Yes, I have. I've gotten taller.
Yeah.
So I'm still growing. I'm a slow developer, so it took me a while to reach that.
Did you grow? Because I want to grow taller too.
Oh, you did? Well, you know what? Hang in there, because it just might happen.
Why not?
So Val, I want to talk too, because you have another program that you're doing, the Venus program. So
Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about that and just what you're doing with that and kind of what the focus is for that.
sure. Well, I was inspired to call it Venus because Venus, the planet, is of beauty, love, and abundance, prosperity. So that's what the program actually gives people. It's actually a free program. And I haven't launched it yet, so I have people to sign up for it. You know, it's pre sign up, and they just have to go to my website.
Right.
And
Okay.
so it's exciting because it brings people into that space where they can receive more abundance. They work on their relationships, on all kinds of relationships, from their sacred union to relationship with your parents or even your friends and family. And then, of course, beauty. And beauty is beauty on the outside, beauty on the inside, and then beauty on the outside. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like changing perspectives. Again, it's going back to self-worth. So, so that's what this program is about, and it's free.
Which is outstanding, actually, because what's probably the most important thing for us to figure out about ourselves, how to love ourselves, how to feel that we actually are worthy, which is, it's amazing to think that we're running around with a little piece of God in us and we feel unworthy.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It's just, my hat off to the designer of the Matrix because it really has hidden from us who we are.
I always say God is a genius architect.
Yeah, true story.
Because the way everything is designed is like it's incredible. Not even like a, a genius can a genius director, a movie director could ever do this.
No, no way.
Possible.
Too many pieces that all have to fit. You ever reverse engineer, a synchronicity or something that to you was truly a miracle, and you
Yeah.
just go back and you say, man, if
Yeah.
that hadn't
That
happened,
didn't happen. That didn't happen.
right? Exactly. And
I know it's incredible. Even the design of our bodies, if
oh
you really think about that,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
How everything is designed in our own how, just the chakras and the veins, the tendons, the everything, are it's just amazing how
Yeah.
everything works. It's like a magnificent, beautiful machine.
It's an incredible machine, and it is so perfect, and everything the way that all and it's a really a good symbol for us too, because all the things in that rely on each other in order for them to be functioning properly. And you can't take one piece and not upset
Yes,
everything
is
else.
that interconnectivity.
Yeah, yeah, another great symbol for us.
It's everywhere, and yet we still, as a collective, still don't understand that
Yeah,
connection.
right. Well, one of the things that Course in Miracles says, and I always love this, was that um, despite what you may think, you only have one problem, and that is your belief in your separation from God. And
It's
that
such
you get rid of that, and then all that other stuff goes away.
Yeah, it just drops.
Yep. And so that's I think that's really the the goal, that certainly mine, something that's very much in my awareness, is remembering and realizing that we aren't separate, that we are all one. And fortunately for us, we've got science on board, when the pushing quantum electrodynamics and
Quantum
entanglement,
physics, yeah.
yeah, and talking about entanglement and how they can have a molecule or a particle on this side of the universe start spinning clockwise,
Yes.
and its partner over on the other side of the universe will start spinning counterclockwise instantaneously, no
Yes.
passage of time. And you
Yes.
just go, okay, well, if they can do that.
Yes. And the internal toroid, how we're always giving off light and energy and we're restoring our bodies. And that's not just within ourselves, but the planet itself is doing that, and the universe itself is doing that. And we're all part of this toroid.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so Val, like you just did a program. Now, do you do soul rising every year?
Yes, but this next year I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay.
I'll be doing other retreats. I'm guided not to do it. See, I only do things through the divine. I
Hmm.
get the download and then I do it. So,
Right.
that's why we haven't done an interview for 2.5 years, because I wasn't, the divine didn't say, call Karl.
Yeah.
But then I got it and I was like, okay, got it. Call
Yeah.
Karl.
Well, so okay, so you're not doing it next year, but when you do your retreats, I'm just curious from your perspective. You get a group of folks there, and they're looking for growth,
Healing.
healing, growth, expansion.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you notice any common threads right now? Like, what's engaging them most in terms of what they want to get? Or is it still just a melting pot?
Oh, it's the biggest thing is self-worth.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's like it's like they're all children. That's why I
Hmm.
call them my kids, because it's the biggest hindrance is
Yeah.
their own self-worth
Right.
of how they actually feel about themselves. It has nothing to do with that other person and what they experience out there and what they did over there. It's all within themselves. It's what how they actually perceive themselves.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. So with that as a starting point, and you come in, I mean, obviously that's wounding, and that's from experience, and that's really dragging all your baggage from yesterday into today, day after day after day. So, but how do you begin to work with that, and what kinds of things
Yeah.
do people seem to really respond to?
So I'm a psychic intuitive as well.
Hmm.
So I can tell people. So immediately I do this workshop where I basically um, ask people, so what, tell me something that you want to work on. And of course they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to talk about anything. Or I'll say, okay, well, tell me something that traumatized you. And they're like, oh, nah, I don't really have anything. Well, then I'll say to them, well, what happened to you when you were 3 years old? And then of course they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then, and I said, well, oh, they'll say, oh, I don't remember. And then I'll refresh their memories. Well, it was with this woman who had red hair, and she was in your classroom, and she did this, and and I get down to the details where they actually remember it so clearly that they start crying, and they
Wow.
release that experience. And so, sometimes they make it easy for me and they just tell me. But most of the time I have to dig, I have to go through their Akashic records and dig and see what it is. And then once that is cleared, it's like a new person. A lot of people, after they have this, realization, revelation inside of themselves, they have to take a shower
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and come back to the group.
Yeah.
Some people that come to my retreats, they get fevers, nausea. They're dizzy. They have to stay in their room for like a few hours or even 24 hours
Right.
because
Yeah.
they're sweating out their fears or their resistance,
Right.
or
Right. Detoxing.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
detoxing. I mean, I don't do anything,
Mm-mm.
but it's just the energy. The source does that.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
It's not like I'm gonna say I'm gonna make you sick. you know?
Yeah. So sign up now as soon as you can, because it's going to be great.
You'll be in your room vomiting the whole time.
Awesome. God, I
It would
haven't
be
done
so
that
great.
for
Please.
haven't done that for years. I should really sign up for that, I'm sure. Well,
Yeah,
actually, that's how you get the people with low self-worth. They sign up for that right away.
yeah,
Like,
no.
yeah, I really should go torture myself for a weekend.
It's just purging. They're purging, and then then there's like I always say this this ascension process is like peeling of an onion,
Mm-hmm.
one layer at a time.
Yeah.
That's why, people are like, well, if I come to your program and, I shouldn't have to come back again. But that's all up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to me for you to know. Even I myself am still peeling those, the onion.
Sure.
And we're not, until we're in a body, we are still peeling the onion.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
This is the problem I have with gurus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they don't think they're peeling the onion anymore.
Oh no, they're God themselves.
Yeah. I have run across a few of them, and it really is quite astounding that, I think Namaste is actually lost on them because
Absolutely.
they just see the God in themselves, and everyone else is a lump of coal.
Yeah, bunch of weeds.
Or weeds.
Yeah, and they're the sun,
Yeah. Yeah, it really is interesting. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's disheartening because most of these gurus have the Shakti, they have the prana, they have the energy, they can do great things. But then when their ego mind takes over, they ruin the truth.
Yeah.
It's not the truth.
Right. Well, and I'm familiar with that sort of, guru and kind of slave mentality that, yeah. And interesting. I don't know about you, but I feel like that is kind of phasing out, and some of the more, the uglier things that I've seen are from the gurus who are actually trying to hang on to that paradigm. They don't want that to necessarily go away. But I do think that that's a concept that is seen its time, and we need to go ahead and let it drift into the past.
Yeah, it's the old paradigm. And they're trying, and they say that those are the real, the true rituals, that keeping that esoteric wisdom that's the way it should be. But actually we are going to be far beyond our esoteric ancestors, or even who we were in ourselves, because we were living then as well. So
right.
So it's all us anyway. But the point is that we're moving way past that now. We're moving into a time where we are going to be the embodiment of God.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no point of guru. Guru is us.
Right. Yep. And all we need to do is believe that, which takes us back to self-worth. Yeah.
Basically the base of everything.
Right. Yeah, no, it really is.
And if you don't have self-worth, then you go to the guru.
Right. Yeah, and you prostrate yourself in front of them, and you let them tell you that you need to go through these very rigorous things and be very uncomfortable for a really long time. And
give me lots of money.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, works for them.
Yeah, works for them, sure. I mean, here's the thing, I think we're breaking some hearts here talking like this, because there might be some people that are, guru followers, and maybe have been guru followers for years, and they've served them. But, that was the time that they've served them.
Right.
We're now stepping, because the guru was needed during that time. Right. And I tell this to everyone that I know, that like, but what about, my gurus helped me so much. Yes, during that time. But now we're phasing out of that. It's not needed. And to be entangled to a guru is actually being, like you said, it's like enslavement. Right.
Yeah. Well, the unfortunate element of it, think of it a little bit like parenting for a second. You actually end up, if you are too attentive to a child, if you want to do too much for them, if you want to protect them from too many things, you actually end up handicapping them more than helping them. And the same sort of thing that when you go through this process with a guru, if you don't ever see that release point, then you're denying the guru in yourself. And there may have been a few things that I understand. I do, believe me, that people get great benefit from gurus, from mentors, and which is wonderful. And I'm for the process, as long as what it's doing is
Yes.
growing you and helping you
To move on.
to move on. I mean, back to the training wheels analogy, that's really what the guru is. They're training wheels for you, and at some point you want to take them off because you want to ride the bike on your own.
Yeah, because maybe you might even know more than the guru itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And really what they're doing is they are helping you to get to that point where you have that realization that you do, and you step into your true being. Nobody's true being is to be a disciple of someone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Well, so Val, I took a peek at the clock here, and I think it would be a wonderful time to do a little bit of a session. What do you think? Do you want to do that?
Sure. Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Okay, so before I go, I also want to mention that I'm doing this amazing web series.
Oh, right.
Which
Yes.
is lightly based on my life, but it's about a woman who's a psychiatrist who's also an author of a book called The Pure Life. And she basically goes through a Kundalini awakening.
Oh, nice. Yeah. She sounds very like you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't write the book, The Pure Life, nor am I a psychiatrist. But she lives in New York, and she deals with people, in the 3D manner. But then her life gets very multidimensional.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Now,
yeah.
when did you start doing this?
Yeah, so I connected with director Richard Burns, and we started filming a year ago. So now we're almost finished. It'll be up and going definitely before 2018. So I'm not sure when, but maybe like I was thinking, maybe we're thinking like August or so.
Right. And where can people find it?
Well, we're
when it's available.
Yeah, it might be Vimeo, might be YouTube, or it might be on Netflix.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but that's to be determined. So
yeah. So now, are you writing the episodes, or you do it with?
Well, Richard likes to call me his I'm his muse. So I think I give him like a lot of information and about myself and about the multi-dimensions and all that, and he writes the dialogue and he sets up the stories and the scenes. So so it's fun. It's fun for both of us. We have this joke where we don't do traditional we're not doing traditional filming, where we call it in the flow, because the whole process is in the flow. We're trusting the divine of being the director in the sense that the dialogue might change, or even the actors might change at the last minute. We don't know, but we're in the flow, and we're okay with what it is.
Right. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. It's like a new paradigm of filming. It goes a little bit beyond that, but maybe one day you'll interview Richard when it's all up and going.
Oh, that would be fun. So now I wonder, are you doing this do you sort of embed energy into
yes, yes, that's the big one. So at the end of every episode, I set an intention of the episode with the episode, and I do transmissions. So
nice.
Yeah, so the whole purpose of this is to really awaken people to higher consciousness about energy, and bring them awareness to themselves of what they're capable of.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And what else is really fun about it is that it's integrating, another aspect of who Val is in her totality. The actress part of you is getting a chance to come out and play a little bit, and integrates with the energy worker part of you. It's really fun.
It's funny because I thought that part of me was dead when I had the Kundalini awakening. I'm like, oh, that's done. I'm never doing that ever again. Because it was so, lower consciousness in the sense, but now it's coming back, again, that was all through guidance of the divine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. How does it, okay, so just real quick before we do a little transmission, what is that like for you? How does that guidance come to you from the divine? And is it just, what's it feel like, and how do you interpret it? Again, I'm back to this thing about being
Yeah.
able to recognize when that is happening within ourselves,
Right.
for audience people. I'm just curious how you acknowledge or how you notice it.
Me personally, my field grows. I
Mm-hmm.
go into altered state, and I hear the voice.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What does it
Yeah,
sound like to you?
it's a man's voice. I know.
Oh,
What are you gonna do? That's just
I know.
how I perceive it.
I know.
So, but it's always been like that. Even like I had an imaginary friend. His name is Charles. He was a boy. He was also a man. And then he came to me after my Kundalini awakening, and he was like, "Are you there?"
Uh-huh.
And he used to call him Charlie. He's like, "It's Charles." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, who's that?" And so
Wow.
it was interesting. It's always
Yeah.
like a man's voice. I have, other female beings come to me like Mother Mary, Isis, Kuan Yin, Durga. I have other female goddesses around me too. But
Right. Yeah. Do you feel like that when they come and they have guidance for you and intuition, do you feel like that is generally based for you, or do you feel like that um, sometimes it's geared toward the work that you're doing because of, well, let's say it's Blossom again, right? And they see the creation of whatever this field is going to be out there, and so they're tuning you to that new field. I mean, does it ever feel like that it's on more of a um, uh, outside of yourself?
oh, it's
Kind of,
always outside of myself.
yeah.
I'll say, oh, like for example, Soul Rising. I was like, oh God, I don't want to do Soul Rising retreat this year. And he's like, no, you have to do it. I have no choice in the matter.
Sorry.
It's like this, it's like, it
Your
has,
guru has spoken.
exactly. It has nothing to do with me,
Yeah, right.
and I'm like, oh, and like, Palermo, my Palermo retreat, I wanted to go to Tuscany, and God told me, no, you have to do in Palermo. And my mom is from Palermo, my father is too, but that's a long story.
Hmm.
And so anyway, I have resistance to going into Palermo because I already been there. It's where I grew up. I mean, I didn't grow up there, but I felt like I grew up there. But because I had both my parents grew up there, and I just didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to Tuscany, and God's like, "No, you're going to Palermo." And what I discovered in Palermo was like pure magic.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome.
So it's like connected for all of us. We found the divine feminine. He told me you will find the divine feminine there, and we
Hmm.
did. And through that, we also found sacred relationships there as well. So
Right.
so sometimes that's why I don't do anything through my ego, because
Yeah.
it's so boring compared to what the divine can give you.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
So yeah,
I have friends who are very connected. Honestly, if you can trust that voice and you can just follow the divine guidance, your life is the equivalent of like a science fiction movie for somebody else. So just the stuff that
totally.
happens and the unbelievable things and how they unfold.
I say that all the time. That
Yeah.
my life is a sci-fi movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if other people, they don't, sometimes you don't have to hear a voice particularly. It
Right.
can be like through signs,
Hmm.
something falls off the shelf. There's someone mentioned something to you, and then you feel like a energy around it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
sometimes it's like that. It's a play off the Matrix.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the thing to remember, and I do try to remind myself this, is that if you have asked for a sign, then pay attention.
Yes,
Just pay attention to things. Because they come all over.
absolutely. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I think even Abdi says that too.
Yeah.
Pay
Yeah.
attention. That's the big, because that's our awareness.
Yep. Yep.
If we heighten our awareness, God is always there, all
Yeah.
around us, all the time.
Right. You might have to put down your phone to make sure that
Yeah,
you're getting
exactly.
the messages.
I had a phone because because then maybe you'll get some.
Yeah. I have a friend, and it's pretty amazing. She gets messages all the time, so spot on license plates. It cracks me up. Some
I
of the
do
things.
too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't it amazing that
Yeah.
really there are all those license plates, and something with a very appropriate message for you goes right in front of you.
Oh, yeah. I lived in Manhattan for many years, like
Hmm.
15 years. And,
Yeah,
I was never in tune with that, the
yeah.
license plate thing. But now that I'm driving, because
Hmm.
I live in New Jersey,
Yeah,
I live in the suburbs basically, it's everywhere. It's all the time.
yeah, yeah. I know. It's really funny. It really is great.
So, yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's everywhere just to heighten your awareness. Like you said, pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we do get a little bit of ADD, I think, when it comes to our own growth, and we say we want something, then we forget that, and we see something shiny, and then we're off, and chasing something else, and forgot that we asked for a sign for this other thing 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, they say, how do I know I'm on the right path? And
Hmm.
that's also the signs as well.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, sometimes there's a lot of resistance in doing something. Sometimes when there's so much resistance, that's the way to go.
Right. Yeah.
Because resistance is just fear.
Yep. Very true. Very true. I love what Eleanor Roosevelt used to say. You should do one thing every day that scares you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, what do you think,
Okay,
young lady?
let's do it. Let's do it.
All righty. That sounds good. So,
You
hey,
okay?
what?
You're gonna play music, right? Or am I gonna play the music?
I was thinking about that actually, and I probably don't have me. Do you have some music you can play?
I do.
Okay, great. Yeah, if you play it on your laptop, I should pick it up. So,
Yeah.
all right. And so, real quick here, we're gonna do a little mini session transmission with Val, and so just a little bit of a story about the last time that we did this. I had first this tremendous heart opening, which was outstanding. I mean, that in and of itself, if that had been the only thing that I felt, that would have been great. But I saw beings behind Val, and that was really cool. I was not sure that was actually what I was seeing, but other people have watched that Superpowers, which is available online. You can find it on YouTube, and or you can find it on streamingforthesoul.com too. I have it there. And people have said the same thing to Val. They write her emails, or they call her up and they go, I saw that too. So anyway, this should be a really, really fun experience, and I will just let Val lead us through it. So
No expectations.
no, sorry. Yeah, you're gonna see the cherubim and the seraphim and the Nephilim and God. So that's all. But
That's
it only
all.
takes about
But,
5 minutes. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to over.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I know where it was coming from. It was coming from your heart. So
it was. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
no worries. Okay, so let's just do it.
Okay. so that's a tough one to come back from. Wow. Okay. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. And I think I'm going to tell Val just real quick a couple things. Hey, Val. So, hi. Wow. So that was like still is actually, just like this full-on body buzzy thing going on. And you know what? You know what when they do the hurricanes on the news, and they time lapse them, right? So you see that energy moving really fast.
Yeah.
You had that behind you, like just these swirling vortexes going behind you, which again is super cool because because I don't see stuff. 3,000 gazes with Brazzo. I didn't ever see anything. Like, people saw stuff all the time. I never saw anything. But anyway, so I thought that was really super cool. I was kind of transfixed on those. Yeah.
Little vortexes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they look like that hurricane movement on the weather, It's cool. Super
Yeah,
cool.
something opened up. Something came through. It was specifically for you and maybe those who are watching.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I would love to know what your response is, what your experience is of that. So this will be on Facebook, obviously. You can post in the comments, or you can send us an email, but just love to know what your experience was like with that. I thought that was really, really beautiful and enjoyed that very much.
Yeah. So did I. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, my dear. Well, bless your heart. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for a really fun conversation. It's just great to see you again and great to catch up. And so appreciate you
We'll
coming.
be in touch hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, we're going to need to have a chat with God and say, let's move this along a little faster this time.
You do that with God, okay? Because he doesn't.
He's not paying attention to you.
It's like,
I have a plan. It's going to work out.
trust.
Yeah. You see the universe? That worked out pretty well, don't you think? So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this, and I hope everyone else did too.
Well, I'm sure they did, and a treat again. Thank you so much for the transmission at the end. That was beautiful. So, really happy to have had that. So, all righty. So that is Valeria Tignini, and you can find Val by going to valsecrets.com, and the programs that she was talking about, Blossom is there, and that sounds like a great one to get involved in. There's the new Venus program, and that one's going to be free, so that sounds great. And also we have the her web series to look forward to too. So, and she does appointments, and she does work with people on an individual basis, and so you can do that as well. And I would encourage it if you're looking for for a body buzz like the one that I just got. So. All righty. So thank you again for tuning in to another Superpowers, and we will see you next time.